action.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Hey now, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well, girl. All right, so I'm Katie Adenrele, and you are,
I'm Donalyn Gorham.
and this is After the 4th.
Yes.
What is After the 4th?
It is the beginning of a beautiful journey between the two of us and everyone that tunes in. We're going to create a village.
Talk about mom things,
Life.
things.
Yes.
Okay, so we are two beautiful Black women
Yes.
and moms. Tell the folks how we met. Tell the folks what are we doing? Why are we doing this?
And how did we get here?
All of it. You start.
Okay. So we met as I showed up to your house one day.
Indeed. Okay, that's true. That's true.
So can I tell you, when I looked at your name on the form, so let me just back up. So for the people, I am an early interventionist speech language pathologist. So right now I work with kids birth to 3. So I showed up at your house and I was not expecting you.
What were you expecting? I'm curious now. Here we go. Let's go. What were you expecting? Go ahead.
I was expecting definitely a white woman married to an African man based on your first and last name.
I get that a lot.
Fine.
Okay.
So when you answered the door, I was like already just taken aback. I was like, this is why we don't prejudge. This is why we go through training not to judge a book by its cover. Which, again, like, it wasn't going to change how I delivered services.
Right.
It just, I was just taken aback.
And what'd you get? So you thought it was going to be a white woman?
Yes. I
married to an
got this,
African man?
Black, pregnant, very pregnant, bubbly Black woman who was like,
pregnant.
I think you were even half dressed.
Damn.
I think you had leggings. Because I was like, this is it. This is going to be very interesting. But and you were like, come on in. We're just getting our morning started.
Come on.
Like my home is your home.
Come on. Because once you're part of the group, you in. Let's go.
Yes, and that's very much what it was. And I feel like that was the beginning of how this started. My take on how it progressed was, I think we naturally built this trust and this unspoken bond. And so we had some very hard conversations along the way.
Yeah.
And I think that built a level of trust between the two of us, and it just kind of flourished.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely met me in a time when I was trying to figure some things out. So I'm Katie Adenrele. I am an educator. I've been in education for 14 years now. When you pray, say a prayer for me.
Yes,
please, because I'm tired. Yeah. Anywho, but I reached out to the org that you work with, infants and toddlers, because my son was Bio is my baby. He's my 3.5-year-old, of course, was diagnosed with autism. And had he even been diagnosed yet?
He had not been diagnosed. We actually had not even had that conversation yet.
He just had some speech delays, we thought, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't talking. And so we were figuring that out. And I, as you said, was very pregnant. I don't know how far along I was, but
I don't remember. Big
enough to be big. Okay, far enough along to be big. And you came in, and the rest is history. I truly believe that once somebody comes into my life to support, or whatever the reason for it is, I'm going to build a relationship. And it was easy to do that with you. You were open, you were honest. Things that I wasn't even comfortable discussing, you made them easy to talk about. And so I really appreciate that, for real.
Thank you.
And then as we progressed, we went from you doing speech services to the turning point of our relationship, which was...
What was that for you?
This is months later. Probably almost a year later, probably.
Yes, it was a year. It was a little after a year.
Yeah. My baby was dealing with seizures. And I don't think I even told you that yet.
No, I didn't know that.
We got a EEG and was going to meet with a neurologist about the results and stuff. I think that was our first time meeting her.
Okay.
And you walked in. We were finished with our meeting. You walked in and looked like you had a hard day, friend. It looked like you were having a time.
I was going through it.
Not the best time. And I was like, damn, you good? And I just gave you a hug and was like, all right, if you need to talk, let's talk. Because while, like, interesting thing about, like, motherhood is, like, yes, we all moms are momming in some way, but we are all doing it differently.
Right.
And even though there's a lot of us doing it, sometimes it can feel real isolating.
Right.
And you can be surrounded by a whole lot of people and still feel like you're doing this thing by yourself.
Right.
Even with a great partner, too. With a great partner, with
Yes.
sisters and families and friends who are doing the same thing, you can feel like, this is hard on me. Who else is going through this? Is anybody else experiencing what I'm experiencing? And at that moment, I feel like our relationship changed, right? Like, you went from just a professional expert to, like, hey, girl.
Right.
Hey, friend. And then we were, like, in the phone having a conversation the next week about...
No, it was a few days later. That was a Wednesday.
Ooh, that's true. That
was a Wednesday. And you were like, oh, I'm off on Friday. Call me on Friday. And I did. I called you Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And venting of all the things that Jude, who's my oldest, and he's 6 now.
It's so sweet.
So sweet. He transitioned from a Montessori school where he had been since he was 3 through kindergarten to a public school setting. And I felt in my gut, in my heart, that it was not the right place for him based on what I know about him as my child, as a learner, all the things.
Yeah.
And I was really struggling with him being there and what it was already starting to shape into after just a few weeks. And so, yeah, that conversation led to, we need help, like, after the 4th trimester, because, like, you have doctors the whole first year, all the things. And then your kid turns 1 and people, like, let you fly. And nothing that you read in those books work. Nothing that you read in those books lead you beyond.
How important is it for, like, this to happen for you, for us to have these conversations? How important is that for you?
Oh, super important.
Why?
Because, one, like you mentioned, I feel like I'm not by myself. I think we learn from each other. I think it opens the doors for, like, a larger conversation about these things that we're experiencing. And then it begs, like, what are other families experiencing? Like, not even just moms, but, like, dads, mom and dads. And then, like, how do these things impact our kids? Like, how cool would it to bring in, like, Jude and be like, Jude, what do you think about this versus that?
And he will tell you. He will tell you.
Right?
I'm excited for a time when Bio can do that. That would be...
He's on his way, friend.
The power of yet. That's a whole other conversation, too.
Listen, but can I tell you how I've taken that from you? So,
what? Exactly.
Side note,
okay.
You always say yet. Like, when we met with his preschool, that is a conversation. Woo. And we had to, like, rope them back in because it was, like, all the negatives first. But as we know, we lead with positives.
Yeah.
And at the end of a lot of their, like, can't do's, it was all, you were always like, yet.
So
I love that. I use that now.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yes.
Context. Bio has been to 2 daycares now, right? So he was at his first daycare. He moved to daycares. And this was when he had first moved to unnamed daycare.
Right.
We love them still. But he was there, and we didn't have any additional services in the school. So now he has ABA services, but that wasn't the case at that time.
Right.
And we were doing OT and speech with you all. And we wanted to have, like, a group team meeting about, like, how's he doing? What supports does he need? All the things. And they came to that meeting with, like, oh, Bio's okay. Blank, 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 all the negatives. I mean, like, dropping all the negative nuggets that I could take. And I had to say, okay, y'all, hold on.
I remember.
We're going to pause. Because while I know that there are some things he cannot do, we're not going to put a period on that. We're going to put a comma and put yet.
Right.
Because my baby has the ability to do so many things. And if you're not believing that he can do them and you're putting periods behind what he can't do, you're limiting what's possible for him. So let me help your language real quick. Let me help them understand that, like, this is a journey for him and he is going to progress and get better. So, like, add a yet, because that's, like, psychologically that helps.
It does.
It does. The power of yet is phenomenal. I also use the phrases like I can or I get to versus I have to.
Ooh, I like it.
Like,
why?
because there's laundry at my house. And I get to do laundry because I have a home that I can do laundry in. Mm-hmm. I have a washer and dryer that I have access to. Okay. I have clothes that my kids have access to. Like these are actually privileges and things that I have in abundance. Versus I gotta do all this laundry. While I don't like it, it is still an opportunity and a privilege to do those things. There are some moms who wish they can wash their baby's clothes. Right. There are some moms who wish they had a closet to put their kids' clothes in. Yep. And I don't know how much I would share, but like I've been in that situation. Like I've been homeless before.
Okay, tell me about it,
girl. Not as an adult, as a kid. So I'm one of 5. Mm-hmm. I'm the youngest of 5 children. My mother had all 5 of us before what? 21. Okay. I'm 30 plus.
It's hard.
And I'm like 30 plus. My mom was a single parent of 5 before 21. Okay. And so you can imagine some of the barriers that she may have faced, you know. Right. But one of them, when we were older, we got put out of a place. We stayed with somebody that didn't work out, and then we ended up in the shelter. Okay. And so I really know what it feels like to like not have your own space or to not have a space to like call your own. Right. But yeah, that has made me be a lot more intentional about the language that I use, how I try to look at situations. Like the world could be on fire. Mm-hmm. Let me find a marshmallow to make a damn s'more. I don't know. I'm going to find the positive in something because there has to be a positive in something. Yeah. What are some things that you do to like just like change perspective? I'm curious now. Cause you say you stole a little.
I did. I stole those. Yeah, I want to know what's next. Those tidbits from you. You know what I have found is after becoming a mom, particularly a mom of multiple. So I have 3 kids.
3 kids.
Little kids, 2, 4, and 6. Boy, girl, boy. All very different personalities. Mm-hmm. I feel like when I had one child, I like still had time for me. I had time for like my husband, all the things I could relax. And now that I have 3, I have lost myself in motherhood. So I honestly can't tell you what I do to bring the calm because as I was sharing with my therapist, I feel like I live in a constant state of stress. I live in a constant state of I need to do A, B, C, D, and I don't have time to rest or calm or find the happy or whatever else because there are all these things that like have to get done. Yeah. And who's going to do them? And I say that and I have help. And a lot of people aren't even like fortunate enough to have help. But even with my help, like I work 3 jobs. I work for infants and toddlers. I do early intervention in another state that's near us. And then I also coach 2 competitive cheerleading teams, which, you know what? I said all that. That is what brings me joy. See? Being on the mat is what brings me joy.
There we go.
That is my calm.
One day you told me that. I don't think I knew that about you. You were telling me, you was like, yeah, I was at practice the other day, and I was like, practice? You talk about practice? What kind of practice? Anyways, so tell me about cheer. Tell me about that.
Oh, I love cheer. Okay. So I cheered growing up. Mm-hmm. And so I currently coach for Cheer Extreme Calvert, which was opened by one of my dear friends. Go ahead, friend. But the, like, full circle moment of that is I cheered at Cheer Extreme in North Carolina, the original Cheer Extreme under like the original owner, and now she's like franchised the gym out. And so now my little girl gets to also rock a CEA cheer uniform.
That's so cute.
It is. And she's loving it. I'm so glad she's loving it because I was like, listen, sis, we will cheer. You can pick some other things that you may or may not want to do, but cheer is not one. But I don't mean that.
The way you just lit up, the way when you realize, like, wait a minute, that's my thing. Mm-hmm. That was beautiful. Like as a friend, seeing that is like, okay, come on, friend, yeah,
thank you,
because you deserve that.
But you also know what I realized is all the things that do bring me joy all have to do with like pouring into like kids. And what I love most about one of my teams is they're like late elementary, like early middle school. Ooh, that's tough.
What
that exactly? Age? Like we're beyond just cheer. Like
the
attitudes, the hormone, the sassy, but they're also like a lot of fun. And so trying to like, you know, put all that into good and like let's put the sass in the routine so we shine and show up.
Okay.
It's interesting, but it's nice that at the end of the day when they take the mat at a competition, like to see how proud they are of themselves and to know that like you were just a small piece of that.
Yeah. What's happening right now? So like I'm listening to you and my other brain that, you know, like moms at the same time is like,
yes,
this is what we're doing this for. Like the idea that two strangers meet, two strangers find some kind of connection,
right?
A relationship is built, and then we get to like really get to know each other on a deeper level, share ideas, build community. When I think about community, I'm thinking about the image of the kids running through my house a couple weeks ago. Like that was so phenomenal to me.
Wait, you have to tell the people about that because they weren't there with us. So
that's true.
Let's talk about the village. That first of all, I want you to talk about what community and like building a village means to you, and then let's talk about the kids running through your house.
All things I love. So, community and village, specifically in motherhood, I think means having someone to talk to, bounce ideas on, cry, celebrate, hold you accountable.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it is all those things. And it's just joy, like to have someone or people, not just someone, but like people who you trust. It's beautiful because once again, like parenting can feel isolating even with help.
Right.
And so that's what it means to me. And a couple weeks ago, me and some dear friends, including Donald and Paul, say, hey, you can say, hey, Paul. Say hey to the people, Paul.
What up?
There we go. He's the behind the camera kind of guy. Anywho, so we were just out enjoying a Friday libation.
Yes.
Planning for this, actually. And I don't think I was ready for that conversation to be over. I think I realized, like, okay, it's Friday night. Friday night in my house is pretty chill.
Wait, so I'm going to... So we went from...
Yes.
Having Friday libations at our pub spot.
Yes.
To let's continue this party at my house.
That's kind of how it happened.
Yes.
And it was so organic, though. It was like, all right, y'all trying to come through? What do y'all do? What are y'all plans tonight?
Right.
We're chilling. Well, we're chilling, and you're chilling. Let's all just chill together because the kids are going to do what they want to do.
And they did.
And they did. Anyways, somebody brought pizza, somebody brought drinks, somebody brought snacks. We got all the toys out, and the kids just literally ran through the house having a ball, connecting. They're building a relationship. And I'm not from here. So the idea of like how I grew up from my kids, it just hasn't happened. Because I have 4 brothers, cousins, aunties, uncles who on Sunday, we all went to my grandma's house, sleeping head to toe, on the couch, on the floor, blankets everywhere. That's how I grew up. But to see 5 or 6 kids just like hanging, building, checking on each other. If somebody fell, one of the bigger kids picked them up. Are you okay? Like that was so beautiful to me. I'm really grateful that y'all said yes because I was just like, let's see what happens. And they said yes. I was so excited.
You know what I also loved about that?
What?
Is BC like wasn't even 1 yet, and she was all in the mix with the big kids. She was like, oh, this is my house and these are my toys. And I will also be a part of this play date. Like, just because I'm small doesn't mean you get to count me out.
BC is now 1, full-fledged walking. Yes. I mean, almost running.
Go, girl.
Through every piece of my house. She's learning how to go up the stairs.
Okay.
So I'm having to release a lot. Also, can I talk about this real quick?
Yes.
My experience with raising BC and raising Bio have been very different.
Ooh.
So one's a boy, one's a girl.
Right.
They're 2.5 years, do my math. Yeah, they're 2.5 years apart.
Okay.
So Bio's 3.5. Bio and BC are their names. We call her BC and Bio. But BC is one. Mm-hmm. She's saying thank you. She's opening stuff, taking it out, putting it back. She loves to like put stuff together. Okay. Like put puzzles together already. I'm like, oh, I didn't have that with Bio.
Okay.
And we didn't have it yet because he's getting there. Yes. We're doing some things, but she's also very strong-willed.
Yes.
Already does it happen this soon?
This soon with the girls and some boys because Jovi was strong-willed, is strong-willed from like day one. Genevieve was also the same way. I think the first kid spoils you a lot. And you're like, oh, this is lovely. I can do this again.
I can stick to a schedule. Baby Bio went down at 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock every day for the first, I don't know, up until he's like 1.5. BC is like, what y'all doing?
Right.
Are y'all napping? Then I'm not napping. Right. Y'all up moving? Then I'm up and moving.
Yeah, she has FOMO.
Her mom has FOMO sometimes.
See? She get it from her mama.
All of it. Lord, pray for me. Anyway, so like that, all of that is community. All of that, like seeing the kids play, seeing the dads talk. My honey was like, I am so sorry I missed it.
Right. We have to do it again so he can be included.
Yes, but that is community. That is village. That is like, all right, what are y'all doing this weekend? Do y'all want to go on a date night? Like, I'm ready for us to get there, to be honest. Like, okay.
Yes.
Y'all need a date night. Y'all need to love on each other real quick. Bring the kids over.
Right.
I'm put them, we can do whatever.
I'm there. Why? I mean, what do you mean you're waiting for us to
get
come
on.
There?
Okay.
You and Ade need a date night?
Listen, we went out last weekend, had a ball. A time was had. We'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
Anyway, but
I'm sure you needed that.
Yeah, it was good. And so that is what community is. Like, I don't always want to lean on the same person to.
Right.
Like, my mom stays with us, so I don't want to be like, Mom, we want to go out. Can you watch the kids? No, I have friends. I actually have friends, okay? They can come and we can hang out. Like, so things like that are important.
Do you know what would be amazing? If this podcast explodes. We're just going to put this in the universe. This podcast will explode.
It will.
And it will build community amongst our listeners. Like, how cool would it be if we could set up like a tea time with like people in our area, and that builds a village and connection for people who may already have a village and want to extend their village and bring someone else in, because we all have something to offer. Or for the person who feels like they don't have a village but needs someone or some people, because we, like you mentioned earlier, like we can't do it by ourselves. Or even like we take this baby on tour. We're in Coliseum, sitting and chit-chatting. We have somebody else moderating instead of us. I mean,
it can go wherever we want it to go.
Right. But how beautiful would it be if in it going wherever we want it to go also means that, like, for other people, it brings them into like their own community and own village also.
That's the goal. Like, to me, that is the goal. The goal is not for us to make a lot of money.
Right.
Talking to each other. Girl, I like talking to you and everything.
Right.
But like, I want these conversations to like spark additional conversations, to spark other folks having questions, to encourage other people to ask themselves, other moms or people, but like, what do I need to show up better for myself? What is I actually like doing this moment. What's that moment that they find in themselves where they find that joy for them? You know what I mean? Like,
Oprah calls it the aha moment. That's your aha moment.
The aha moment. Yeah, come on, Oprah. Shout out to Big O.
Yes.
Hey, Oprah. No, but like that is what I hope, because I truly believe that like our journeys are not for us.
Right.
They're for others to grow from, to learn from, and to get whatever they need from.
Right.
And if that's village, great. If that's tips and things, great. If that's how to meditate to calm our mom brain, like whatever it is, because I'm wondering, how are you calming your mom brain?
Sleep, when I do sleep.
This is going off a little bit, but with kids, do you find out that you can like actually rest at night? Do you rest?
It depends. So I'm a super light sleeper.
Oh, yeah.
It drives Lanre crazy. because
Really?
the smallest thing will wake me up. Like and it's so funny because if he's in bed and we're sleeping, he wakes up, I can feel that he's awake before like my body is fully awake, and now I'm awake.
Oh no.
Just because I feel that he has like woken up. And so some nights he'll be like, I'm not sleeping with you tonight because you need to rest.
Oh, that's considerate though.
And I don't want to wake you up. It is, but I do like,
honey, get in this bed.
Right.
What are you doing? Okay.
Oh, and Jovi like still doesn't like fully sleep through the night. So we get maybe, if we're lucky, like 3-4
Solid.
nights a week where like he sleeps through the night. That doesn't mean, no one else wakes up, because like if they wake up and have to go to the bathroom, instead of going to their bathroom, because there are lights in the hallway, lights in their bathroom, they come into our room.
Do they get in your bed already?
No, they just go to the bathroom, but
good.
they need to announce it. Sometimes they'll put themselves back to bed. Sometimes, can someone else tuck me in? And by that point,
Wrap that blanket around yourself and sit down. Sorry.
So, rest is variable depending on like the week. But I have learned that I can thrive off of very little rest.
Let me tell you something about what I learned once I became a parent. Mm-hmm. How powerful people are.
Yes.
Specifically myself. Shout out to me, like Snoop Dogg. I wanna give a shout out to me. Anyways, no, but seriously. Like, you don't realize what you're capable of until you have small people.
Right.
You don't realize that you can actually survive off 3 hours of sleep and like do a important job.
Right.
Like after I had BC and Bio was, we were still trying to figure out what was going on with my baby. So he was waking up in the middle of the night, like staying up for 3 hours. He'd wake up at like 12 and be up till like 3-4 o'clock. I'm like, this is delusion. How am I supposed to do this work?
Right.
And I was working at a new public charter school in DC. Like Southeast DC high school babies.
They needed you.
I don't know what they needed, but it was real, okay? It was tough. It was probably the hardest year of my life. Mm-hmm. Pregnant at that time. And we just survived. I don't know how we were able to do that. Mm-hmm. All that to say, we're powerful beings.
Yes,
we are. We survived. Like, we are able to do things that we did not think was possible. So shout out to moms. Shout out to dads, too. We love dads.
Listen,
thank you, daddies.
I'm shouting out everyone that plays a role in helping with little people, because, baby, it is not for the faint heart. And we need each other.
Yeah.
They need us. Some days we feel like we don't even have it to give, but we give it anyway. So all the people that pour into these little beings that we're raising into good humans, or at least trying to raise into good humans, shout out to them, because woof,
it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
I
am wondering. I got nothing. Dang, I blanked. That's crazy.
That happens.
Mom brain.
In the mom fog, I recovered very well after having Jude and Genevieve. I think the reason Jovi is so bright at the right age of 2.
Tell me why. I feel like something's coming.
He took all my brain cells with him when I birthed him, because, honey, word finding, blanking on things. I am very much in that. I walked in this room for something. What was it?
If I walk into another damn room and stand there, I call it glitching. Now I'm like, I know. I just start dancing sometimes. So I'm like, what the hell why did I come in here?
Right.
What do I need? And then 2 hours later, I'm like, oh, I needed the toenail clipper because BC scratched me. I vacuumed, took half the dishes out the dishwasher, cleaned the bathroom, and my baby's nails are still scratching my face. So yes, mom brain, mom fog is real.
It's real.
And the importance of village is like, if you are a mom doing this, parenting, working, trying to have some kind of social life, trying to be fit, doing all the things.
Right.
And you don't have people to talk to help remind you that you are a sane, capable being.
Right.
You just start having all kind of random thoughts about what you are not able to do.
Right.
Let's not talk about those thoughts. I can't do that today. But
but I do think that's like a conversation for another day.
It is, because the amount of convos I've had to have with myself about you are a fully functional human,
right,
who is capable of doing amazing things. Relax, take a chill pill, give yourself grace.
Ooh, give yourself grace.
That hit that hit for you.
It did.
Tell me more. What is that?
Oh, I have to remind myself of that. Like, very often, give yourself grace. We're all doing the best that we can. You know, that's one of the things I realized, like, being a mom, is that parents, guardians, whomever, whatever role that people are playing in raising children, is we are all doing the absolute best that we can. And we all have to extend ourselves and each other grace, because times are hard. Groceries are expensive.
Gas. I'm about to get
gas. Daycare.
Oh, baby.
Daycare is more than my mortgage.
I'm tired of daycare. Now
So,
we have to, go ahead, girl. I can't even think about it.
So we all need a little bit of grace. I'm all about extending grace to myself. You know what? Today I may have fallen a little bit short, but we're here, and tomorrow will be another day to try to get this right.
But here's a question. So, like, thinking about, like, giving ourselves grace, is it do you require grace of others? Do you require folks to handle you with grace?
Yes.
And if so, what does that look like?
I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I will tell someone in a heartbeat, listen, I'm doing the best I can. I will tell my husband that real quick. I am doing the best.
Giving you the best that I got. Baby, I am giving it all.
Listen,
I am giving it all to you.
I am doing the best that I can right now, and I need you to relax.
Accept it and know that.
I will tell my coworkers right now.
Giving you the best that I got.
Okay, this is what you're doing, the best that I can. Listen, and you're going to have to accept it, because I can't give you any more than my best right now. And this is what my best looks like in this moment.
So out of this best, what you want from it? Which piece do you want? Because I'm going to give it to you. Yeah, because, I mean, I think I definitely am a believer in giving myself grace, but trying to also remind folks of, like, hey, like, I started a new job.
Okay, tell me about it.
I started a new job. I didn't tell you this yet.
I don't know.
Oh, I started a new job in September.
Yes, you did tell me.
And I went from an assistant principal, very high demand role, out of the house by 5:30, 6 o'clock, home by like 4:30, 6 o'clock, depending on what the event was or what's going on at school. And I was like, I can't do this. So I transitioned roles. So we can talk about, like, even the decision to transition roles was like, now it's not just me anymore. It's like I have me, my family, my professional goals. Like, what example am I setting for my daughter and my son if I quit when it's hard? All this shit I was talking about. But I had to have very clear conversations with my new role and, like, my new manager about, you know, I'm picking up my son on Mondays and Tuesdays. I'm leaving here at 2:30 to go get my babies. Right. I'm going to get what I have to get done first, but know that if there are things that are happening at this time that you want an all-team conversation, I may not be present for that. Right. And that's okay. But I think, like, having those clear lines of communication with those who you work with, those who you care for, those who care for your people, like, you have to be direct with people. Right. I'm not asking for permission about some things. I'm going to tell you what I'm able to offer you at this time. And that's all I got for you. That's all I got.
But that's a good conversation for also another day, is communication, how we communicate with each other, how people perceive that. So I'm a very direct communicator. This is, like, what it is. This is what I expect, X, Y, and Z. where my husband, he's not a passive communicator. That's like not the right word. We just communicate differently. Yeah. And so, but he takes my like directness as like, you're rude and you're mean.
I never got that from you.
That's because you communicate the same way I do.
Because somebody definitely called me rude the other day. I was like,
damn. See? But communicating with people is important. Yeah. But then, like, how does that shift based on, like, what's happening in your personal life? And then if you realize later that you've miscommunicated something or you've communicated it in a way that offended someone, like, going back to giving grace, like, do you go back and correct that? Because, you know, my kids, if we get off to a rough morning, honey, that make it a different side of you. First person interaction when I get to work might be a little different than like a smooth morning and we're all at the door.
Yeah.
So that's a conversation for a day too.
I thought you were, that is very true. And I thought that you were going towards the willingness to apologize. That's what I thought you were going to, like with kids and spouses, because, you know, we both have lovely husbands.
Yes.
But like when we make mistakes, when we do, whether it's how we communicate.
Wait, hold on. Like who? I don't make mistakes.
Girl, you better stop. You better stop. Because what do you make?
Huh?
You perfect.
Close.
Do we have a cricket sound in here? Because what are we talking about?
Did you see Paul falling like this?
What happened?
I'm just kidding.
Has to be a cricket machine because
I do apologize.
You do.
I do apologize. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? Let me pull out my phone so I can record this. I do. But that took time.
Really?
That was growth. That was therapy.
For you.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm quick to be like, baby, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Actually, my husband would not agree with that. Let me take a step back. I think I am quick to acknowledge my mistakes. I'm not always quick to apologize. Because I'd be the first one to say, look, I made it. It's a typo in an email. I was late today. That's on me. But I think what has to come after that is like, I could be more attention to detail. I'm sorry. Or like, you right, baby. We did have this conversation. I made that mistake, and I'm sorry. Because I inconvenienced you or like, you know, whatever the outcome was. But yeah, married life, we talk about mom life. Let's talk about married life.
That's another episode. Wait, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Can we pause? At what point did we end this introductory episode? Because we've talked about like so many different things.
Introduction is over. He's like, where y'all at? Paul's like, I got all these notes. Y'all done went. Go ahead, Paul. What you got?
I don't have any notes. I'm about to take notes.
Okay,
on what?
So
I was gonna. What was the question?
I feel like we need to like.
This is I think an episode or at least part of an episode. Like I've always thought it's been really cool when like I don't know how. I don't know how you guys work with kids all day,
and then go home to your own kids.
Kids. It's just kids all the time.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
So like, I feel like that would. Take gummies now. You talking about burning out and just like stressing out and stuff. Do you think that has any effect?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like your careers are around children all the time. So
oh,
like,
oh
my gosh, how do y'all do it? Because for me, I'm just like.
Yeah, well, my struggle started differently because I've always worked in an environment with kids that have had needs or I'm trying to find out if they have needs. So after I had Jude, I went home with guilt thinking, oh my gosh, my child is doing all of these things.
And I was somebody else's kid.
I was with someone else's kid who's not even doing like a fraction of these things. Also not realizing at the time that my kid did have needs. Like he only rolled to one side. He would never do tummy time. I knew like, okay, well if he doesn't crawl, which he didn't, like we're gonna need OT at all. We're going to need OT in the future. So I knew like that was coming, right? Like in my mind, I was like, well, we'll get OT. I didn't know how quickly OT was coming. It was, right around the corner. I didn't realize that like the screaming he would do at daycare with the chronic ear infections, even after we got that fixed, was also because my kid like could not self-regulate. And so I initially went home with like all this guilt and like, oh my God, this is so hard. But it like now sitting on both sides of the table, it's definitely added like perspective And in the beginning, I was like very appreciative. Like I would go home and like squeeze him and like all the things. Like when you meet parents who have kids that were born at 17 weeks, 21 weeks, who are miracles, but still have like all of these needs, like perspective is real. Or like you hear the mom like, oh, I've had one, I'm trying to have another one. And it's not, it's not happening. Yeah. Like, even though you've worked with kids all day, like you love on what you have at home.
Yeah, that's true too. I'll say I also work with high school kids too. So I'm like, listen, I am actually ready for some small cuddles and hugs and love and to get on the floor and crawl around. Oh, we're still going.
Was that?
It's still going?
I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't move the mic out the way. I was like, let's
right. I thought we were just having like general conversation.
That's
but I would sit on the floor. I would just get off work. First of all, my drive is like 40 minutes. So I'm in Southeast DC.
Okay.
And so that drive to here, I'm like, all right. Let go of anything that did not bring you joy today because it does not deserve a space in your home. Like, it just can't come. I cannot bring negative energy to my baby. I done broke up a fight. I done had a parent cuss me out. I have been in some tough meetings with staff who may have been let go. I am going from Miss A to mom. Right. And I used to cut that off real quick, especially after my daughter.
Right.
Negative energy cannot come into my home. Because this is our sacred space.
Right.
It doesn't deserve here. And my kids actually just deserve the best of me.
Right.
So yeah, let's take this jacket off, go change clothes, get on the floor, make a mess of the house, start cooking. And then mommy's here. Like, mommy is home, so let's have fun.
You know what else changes it? Like when you work with kids all day and then you go home to your own kids, when you walk in the door or daycare and they light up when they see you and it's mommy's home.
Yes.
Or like the hug. Yes. The kids, like you forget about the fact that you've been with someone else's kids all day long, even if it was a rough day or a great day or somewhere in between. Like, or if you walk in and they're crying, you instantly go into mommy mode and you're like, oh no, what's wrong? Like,
first
let
of all,
me comfort.
Who do I have to smack?
Right. Like, and let me comfort my child and find out what's happening that you don't even think about all the other kids you've been with all day because now I'm like focused on my child. So my mom was a principal for over 30 years, principal, AP,
Tell
teacher.
her I said thank you for her service.
I sure will.
Seriously.
And I used to ask her the same thing. How did you deal with children all day and then come home?
And giving you the best that I got. She gave it to you.
She did.
Okay,
we're going to change the name of this podcast. Or maybe we're going to have to write in and see if we can use that song.
Was that Whitney? I think it's Whitney Houston. I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
I could be wrong, but
we'll find out.
I can't pay Whitney. I can't pay nobody for that song, that little sound clip. Go ahead, girl. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, I used to wonder the same thing. Like, I used to always say I was never going to work with children. And actually, when I interviewed for my job at the elementary school, my principal at the time that was interviewing me, she said to me, why do you want to work here? And my answer to her, and she like remembers it to this day, was, I said, I've never wanted to work with children. I said, I never had any desire to be in a school.
Yeah.
And I said, I did my internship in a school and I would never be anywhere else. It was so much fun and rewarding working with all types of children from all like various backgrounds. I will never forget, I worked with 3 or 4 kids that had Down syndrome. And I was like, you know what? You talk about strong-willed. Those little friends are very strong-willed.
Very.
And I said, my goal before the end of this semester is for us to have a session where I can tell them what to do and we can work on this together without them telling me no.
Because they will tell you no.
They will tell you no. And I did. And by the time we bonded, I was like, you know what?
This is it for you.
This is it. This is.
It's crazy
I loved
how that
it.
happens. Like, But that, and thank you for your service. Like, you said yes to something that you felt, which was like, I don't want to be anywhere else but with kids. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do anything else but like use my gifts to impact kids, which brings us here. Right. Like, you said yes, how many years ago? 11 years ago?
11 years ago. But you know what? When I went to school for journalism, broadcasting, and communication because I wanted a children's TV show and I wanted to write a series of children's books.
It's never too late. I cannot wait to see that happen. Are you going to do it still?
I should. I have like so many books written. My sister yells at me weekly about publishing them.
We are about to make some more dreams come true. I'm so excited. Village, once again, like, now I know.
But wait, we have to talk about time. That takes time.
Bring them kids to my house for 2 hours and go right at a coffee shop. What do we, so now what?
Now I don't have an excuse.
Giving you the. I'm sorry. But no, like that is what Village is. Like I can loop every single thing that we've talked about back to Village.
I love it.
Even when you said, I said yes to this interview, like 11 years ago, you said yes. I'm sure you spoke to somebody in your circle was like, y'all, I'm about to apply for a school-based position. And somebody was like, yeah, you'd be great at that. Go ahead, Donovan. And they did. And now your professional career has just taken off.
Yes.
And you are impacting, I'm sure there's hundreds of kids at this point, if not thousands of kids that you've had like a positive impact on.
Yes.
That's Village. That is what Village, accountability, community, that's what that is.
Yes.
All of it comes back.
It does. It does.
So about these books, are you?
Yes.
You said you already had like some written?
I do.
You have an illustrator?
I don't.
I got a friend. I have a friend.
And here comes the Village.
Yes. He's expensive though. I gotta see.
Okay.
Anywho, but we'll see.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk.
Okay.
Okay. So how you feeling? Okay, so how are you feeling right now doing this, knowing that we are moving forward with this podcast? How do you feel?
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about it. We've talked about ideas, what we want, our vision, how we can, impact, how we want to impact the lives of like our listeners. But to be here now in this moment with you and Paul, it feels so good.
It feels good.
It feels right.
It feels right. It does. It feels like there's so much more to come.
And
so what are the things that are coming? What are we going to be talking about? What are some of the topics that you are excited to talk about?
Decision fatigue, because, ma'am, we are coming up with a recipe book.
Who's we? Oh,
we are coming up
peanut butter and jelly, girls.
We as in me, you, Paul, and our viewers, we're going to talk about what we eat for dinner, and we're going to put those things in rotation. And by the end of this, we're just going to look at a calendar. We're going to be like,
today is Tuesday,
this is what we're having for dinner, because I can't.
They have to eat every day. Multiple times a day. Yo, that's the one thing about parenting, about life in general. It just keeps happening over and over. And I'm like, I cleaned this toy area up 5 times yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Can it stay clean? I did laundry last week. Can I have a pass?
Nope.
These kids can wear the same clothes every day. At this point, hold on. At this point, I have decided I'm not going to keep buying all these fun, festive, 50,000 type of socks. You get a pack of white socks and a pack of black socks. Because I'm tired of trying to find all the matches. Do you struggle with it?
Yes. So they all go in the dryer or the washer and only one comes. I'm like, where are these socks? And can we also talk about how fast they grow?
So we've talked about Village. We're talking about community. We're talking about decisions, fatigue and all.
Yes.
We're talking about cooking. We're talking about, what else are we talking about?
Work-life balance.
Do you have that? See, I get us distracted. I'm trying to go through the list, and I'm going to go through. Yes. So work-life balance.
Yes.
What else?
You know what we should also talk about? A dream delayed. Because I feel like a lot of people have dreams and aspirations of things that they want to do. Kind of like me, like publishing a book or a whole series. And then life happens. And so your dream just kind of like takes a back seat. But like, how do we get moms, dads, whomever, like, to back to that place where like your dream doesn't have to be denied. It's just a little delayed.
Yeah.
And like, now let's put it into action. Like, what does that look like? How do we carve out time for that? Like you said, I can bring my kids to your house for 2 days or 2 days.
Wait a minute.
2 hours. You just adopted 3 kids.
I still love y'all.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. 2 days is wild. 2 days is crazy.
Wild. I'm going on vacation.
But if you need it, tell me what you need. But I agreed to 2 hours.
Yes. Like, if people don't have 2 days or 2 hours,
right.
like, you know, how do we work through that?
Yeah. Dreams. You know, was a topic that we're in the middle of. So literally today, before I came here, we had an electric company at our house installing a new electric charger because my husband has an electric vehicle. But like new cars.
Yes.
How kids don't give a damn about what your car look like.
Oh, no, they don't.
How I'm like, child, please stop dropping crumbs. But you want them to have snacks in your car.
You could have a whole 3-4 course meal with all the crumbs they've dropped in your car.
I feel like every parent needs to have a mini vacuum in their vehicle.
Yes.
Do you have one?
I don't.
It's
but
your
you're
Christmas
right.
present. Don't worry about it. I'm about to get you one for the holiday.
Listen, I just had my car detailed, and I've only put in 1 car seat. I'm like, one of y'all gets to ride in my car at a time. Right now, it should be because
nobody else can ride.
We're going to and from cheerleading, so we're going to minimize the crumbs and toys in my car right now.
Cars, decisions, community, work-life balance. I'm also excited to talk about just like how to date the father of your children, how to date your husband, how to make sure that like y'all are good so kids can be good. Because baby, when we are not good,
oh yeah,
the house feels different. You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
Like if I am not like madly in love with my husband at that particular moment, it can feel different.
It does, and kids pick up on that. Like I think kids are really great about reading energy.
But I'm gonna do a little shaky, a little cuddle in front of my. I love the fact that like my daughter gets to see me kiss my husband or my son. Like like when we kiss in front of our kids, they're like, it's the cutest thing to me.
No, my kids are like, no, that's my mommy, that's my daddy. Get away.
It's my man first. Back up, right? So dating your partner.
We also have to talk about our children with special needs.
Our kids with special needs, because I am an awesome mom. For those who don't know, like autism community has coined that term of like awesome parents.
Okay.
And just like even how to build community in that, because that's a whole nother play date. Got kids over here spinning shit. They just go do themselves, and I love that for them.
Right. But we also should talk about like the process and like, how did you know when to get help, and what did that look like? Who guided you there, and what if you don't have some person in your corner to even like help take you down that road? You know, so that's like a huge thing, because a lot of people will sit back and wait. We can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, I was informed by one of his teachers, and it was more like, I think you should get him evaluated for autism. And I'm like, hold the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because, wait, what? You have my husband who's highly educated and me who's, I'm like, this is not my story, actually. He just don't want to be in class. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was very much in denial.
I know.
Very much in denial. and
so we took it easy.
We took it real easy. But now I'm like, this is my son, and this is who he is and how he shows up, and he is absolutely perfect.
But you know what? Even in the midst of being in denial, you were still doing what you needed to do for him. So even though there was no like category on what was happening,
I knew something was up.
You knew something, and you took all necessary steps to support him and like helping him through whatever you felt like was up, whether it was language, whether it was sensory, regardless of what any type of like label or title or, you know, that someone else at the time tried to put on him. You were like, but I know this is what he needs now, and I'm still going to get him what he needs. So even though you were in denial, you were still doing all the things to support and help him. And I think that's you deserve your kudos for that.
Excuse me, and thank you. That was a time. That was a time. A lot of processing. So,
that's a good point. I appreciated that from you as a parent. Like we would have these hard conversations, and I never had to go back and really follow up because you'd be like, I need to process that. Give me a couple days. Give me a week. Okay. When you're ready, and you would circle back and you'd be like, okay, team.
Hit that text thread. All right, team, what we doing? Right. Because it's hard. And there's so many books that I've read now that I am aware of, my baby's diagnosis and just like the community of like autistic kids and parents and all that it entails, because it is truly a spectrum of things.
Yes, it is.
I am so grateful for that point in my life. Because it's like, even when you don't have the answers, you just have to march forward. Like,
that's right.
Like you just cannot take your foot off the gas unless it is to check to see if what you're doing is right.
Right.
And it may not be right. But it's like, okay, every little step is benefiting him. Every conversation is benefiting him. Every one of these therapy sessions, doctor meetings, documents that I get in the mail, every overnight EEG, like it's all getting him to the place. And whether I don't know what his future looks like.
Right.
That is also the part I'm like, God. But I think that's parenthood too.
Yes.
Like,
that's for anyone.
You don't know what your child is going to turn into or who they will become. They can have all the pieces to the puzzle. They may just toss the whole board and say, you know what, mama, you taught me well.
Right.
And I'm going to go do what I want to do. Same thing for bio. Like, I'm not sure. I'm putting all the pieces in front of him and giving him all the supports and resources. And they will fall as they will. And it will be a beautiful puzzle, however he chooses to put them together.
That's right.
And I'm so excited about that.
But you know what? I think it's hard, like, wherever you sit, right? Like, you work with kids. I'm a speech therapist. I work with, obviously, kids and families. But even, like, sitting on the other side of that, like, you still have to, like, take a minute and pause. So, as you know, Jude was also recently diagnosed with autism, ADHD, and then we have some anxiety mixed in from the two of those amongst, like, a host of other things, like slow processing. But he's a perfectionist and, like, all the things.
Yeah.
And, what is the best educational setting for him? And very young, I realized there was something, I couldn't always, like, put my hands on it. Like, we had a lot of perseveration. We thrive on routines. And when our routine is not in order, we fall apart. Like, we can't transition. Like, and at each step, things look very differently. But I knew what he needed. Like, I knew when he needed speech. I knew when he needed OT. I knew physical therapy was a possibility because we couldn't navigate the playground without physically teaching him how to climb, how to move his legs to slide down. Like, if he didn't have that tactile input.
See, this is the professional. See,
he couldn't do it, right?
You're expert.
But even knowing all those things and then reading a 38-page report.
Baby. The
tears were tearing. The emotions were high. Even sitting in a 3-hour follow-up with the psychologist, knowing what the result was going to be, what the conversation was going to be. I mean, it was even what I wasn't expecting from that conversation.
What were you not expecting?
Was for her to say, I don't think a public school setting is best for him, and I think we do need to look at a special education setting. So, okay.
Take a minute.
Breathe
in, breathe out.
And then let's talk about those schools.
And then let's research them and go see them. Because how has that process been? Like, school searching.
It's interesting. And I think Lanray and I have, like, similar views on it. We have different views on certain things. But at the end of the day, it comes back to, like, what's best for Jude. So, like, right now we've, like, beefed up his IEP. He has tons of accommodations, supplementary aids, but he's in a classroom with one teacher and 16 kids, and which he's loving, by the way.
Is he?
He's loving.
what's he so excited? Like, what is he excited about?
He loves the school. He loves his teacher, his friends.
Mm-hmm.
But then I see the work that comes home, and I'm like,
like it's too hard, too easy.
I think it's too hard, and it's too many steps, and it takes him a while to like, okay, like for math, for example, like I've done this problem this one way for question 1, but question 2 wants me to work it out a different way, and like my mind having to switch after I've just already solved this problem is a bit much.
Gotcha. Okay.
Whereas where he was coming from Montessori, we had a lot of manipulatives, and we could take movement breaks. I could work at my own pace. I had like multi-sensory inputs with like my work, and there were a variety of ways that I could get my work done, whether it was visual, tactile, verbal, like all the things. And I think that worked very well for him. So now we're looking at the schools that the psychologist suggested, which are so expensive. Send me your list. Oh my gosh, they're so expensive. And then we're also looking at schools that were similar to Montessori, but that have like a mix of like a Montessori and then like a typical school feel. And then there's like some smaller private schools that like maybe the ratio is 1-12. And let's see what that looks like. So, but I do have a school suggestion for you.
I love it because that
I've been like wanting to talk to you about. And Landry and I are now like the advisory committee board
of that school
of a therapy place that works directly with the school.
Dope, because I need it.
We've had a wonderful experience.
We have so much to talk about, girl. Like literally just all the things. And I'm excited to bring in our listeners to get their input of like, what do y'all want to talk about? What do y'all want to hear? What tips do you have for us? And what tips can we share with the people? Because I believe everyone is expert in something.
Right.
So we can use anyone's expertise to get better. Right. That's what I believe. So we have a lot on our plates moving forward, a lot to share, a lot to learn. And I'm just excited. I'm so excited. So this is the beginning of After the 4th, or whatever we choose to call this beautiful thing. But
I know what we're calling it.
What are we calling it?
Now this is your decision.
Chit chatty.
Yes.
Awesome moms.
Something with like, I just think like the village or something. I think that's it, because everything falls underneath it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it should be, because it's about reaching out. How I'm taking it, it's about learning of all these different pieces of your lives, and how to figure it all out. It is all about like building your village and learning how to, navigate, reach out to people and help. And it's like when it all like you said, it all comes down or goes back to the village of like building your network and your community.
Yeah.
Leaning on each other.
Because I need to lean. I need to lean on somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So you're like, oh, drop the kids off, or oh, drop the kids off.
I'm serious.
For an hour or two.
Yeah.
Like
not
that.
2 days.
And then you talk about everything else. I think something like village oriented.
All right.
I think.
All right.
We'll play with it.
We'll play with that. Yeah.
And I think what we can do is all like basically, I can just throw this up unedited in a private link, and then y'all can just watch yourselves.
Okay.
And then take notes of like, not like what you should do better, but like take notes on like what the episode should be. Like, I think it'll just help everyone if we just watch it and then okay, so what can we talk about here? I don't know. I think it might help to just watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of just like, it's the first time we've done this. Trust me, you're gonna be like, you might be like, oh dang, I look or sound.
I already know. I need my
I'm
hair
like,
done.
I'm moving.
Put on some makeup.
Oh gosh, because it's just natural to like when you're on camera, you're very critical of yourself.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So it'll just kind of like give you like a foundation of like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Maybe we should like steer more this way or more this way. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I think that's a good idea.
I'm excited to watch and listen.
And then we can do, because I think like the intro, I think we really want to make it
short.
A good episode.
Yeah, because that's going to rope people in.
So if you rewatch this, you can kind of say, okay, that was great. So write
Take
that
this
down. And then like another part, oh, that was great. Let's like kind of have something there. And so we have like a 20-30 minute little intro.
Okay.
That's just those are my thoughts.
Because we were just talking.
We were just
Which is good. That's why I was like, you know what? Just talk about what you want to talk about, and then you can go back and be like, okay, so let's like now narrow it down.
That's good, Laser.
Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
I think we have so much to talk about that it's easy to like.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Which is what we did.
Versus like, all right, this conversation could be 4 different episodes.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
More. We talked about many things. That's why I was trying to like reel us back and be like, okay, we did this, we're talking about this, we're gonna talk about this, talk about that, talk about this. Oh, but let's talk about this and this. That's it's always good to just see what comes out.
Right.
I felt so good gazing into your eyes, girl. I was over here like looking at you.
But you know what? Like at one point I forgot that like we were here.
Yeah.
And it was just this natural, just like girl. Back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I feel
a
like
good sign. That's good.
Gazing into her eyes or whatever.
We have very good eye contact.
Yes. So listen, it's working out. Okay.
I'm excited. And I have good energy, good vibes.
Yeah.
I actually feel better since I've like been here than I did when I like walked in.
Yeah. I'm
like I feel like I have like my body has
relaxed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It has. I got to find some food in my life. Oh Lord. Yeah, one of my friends went to jail.
What?
I'm so sorry. My friends is a little crazy.
Are they out?
So
I wanted to honestly when I was sitting here, I was like, I kind of want to hear more about you were homeless at one point.
Yeah.
That shit's wild.
I was a kid. So once again, my mother had 5 kids.
Yeah.
Before 21.
Yeah.
At the time, she hadn't graduated high school.
Not a lot of people go through that.
No, I mean,
so like that to me is very interesting. I don't know if you want to share.
I mean,
like,
so at one point in my life, I used to do public speaking. Okay, so like I had a whole business website up, was doing trainings and all kind of stuff. It was really cool.
I train people in public speaking.
And my tagline is like, my story, not my excuse. I really believe that everyone has a story, and like no matter what story you're living or telling, it cannot be your excuse to not strive for greatness. It just can't be. So I was homeless. I experienced sexual abuse as a kid. Like life just dealt me some crazy shit at one point. I'm like, I actually still want to be dope. I want to be great. I'm going to take the things I learned from my mama's abusive relationship, like all this shit that I had been a part of. Like I'm just going to take it and like do more. Keep the great stuff, let go of the bad, and just like keep going forward. And that's. Yeah, I remember we went to a shelter because we were staying with somebody, and my older brother was too old to come with us. So already it was 5 of us. My older brother wouldn't stay with somebody else. It was me, my mom, my 3 of my other brothers. And I just remember like the process of like going to the cafeteria and like eating in a group space or having to be in at a certain time. They would lock the doors, or having a limited amount of clothes. Or my mom just like going out trying to find somewhere else for us to stay.
Right.
And I don't remember, I gotta look. Oh my goodness. I'll say this. One time, me and my mom, we sat down as adults and like talked about the stuff that we've gone through as kids in our lives. And I think I lived in 17 places.
Wow.
Before I went to college.
Wow.
And I moved in with my grandmother when I was a sophomore in high school. So for 3 years, I lived with my grandmother. Okay. But before that, there's a list of like 16 or 17 places that we lived. Okay. From when I was born until then. And I cannot imagine that life for my kids. So it really did just push me to be different. Right. One time my mom asked me like, she said, "You're really successful. How?" I'm like, what? I don't understand the question. Like, I don't understand. But, I mean, we started talking. I was like, I don't want to offend you. And I love you. And the more that the more I live in adulthood, the more I am so grateful and, like, in awe of the woman that she is. Because she's dope. Like, how she's still sane, I have no fucking clue. Right. But I was like,
with 5 kids alone, I would have been done.
I don't want to offend you, but there are some things that I experienced as a kid that I just told myself that I would not do. That I saw you, like she was a part of a an abusive relationship. She moved a lot. It just wasn't the best. But there's some dope things that she's done. Like, my mom, I used to think my mom could make the sunset. That's how magical I thought and powerful I thought she was. So even though it was 5 of us and we were moving and shaking and going to different schools and going to different houses, staying with people, like, I thought she had the power to make the sun go down because she would take us to the river and we'd do, like, picnics. Oh. And we'd have our blanket. We'd be on the hill by the river. And she would count. Like, all right, the sun's going to go down in 10, 9. And it wasn't moving fast enough, so she'd tell us a story. Or we play a game. All right, we're at 5. And it wasn't going down fast enough. So she'd stop and, like, tell us a story. And when she got to 1, the sun was down.
Oh, wow.
But, like, that is the power of motherhood. Like, that is the magic that we hold as parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the ability to make our kids believe that we can make the sun go down.
Right. You have to tell, like, all of this with, like, the same level of,
you know what I'm saying? But I mean,
emotion, enthusiasm, and
my mom
joy.
is dope as shit. She is. She's so beautiful.
But that speaks to, like, the love she provided. Like, even though she couldn't provide you one home, like,
at one time,
she still provided you with, like, all the things that matter. Like, you have beautiful memories of a child, like the river and, like, her love and, like, it's obvious, like, you still feel that, like,
I feel emotional right now. Like, I feel warm.
Yes.
And that's what I hope that I can give to my kids. And that's what I hope that everybody in our village knows that they are capable of giving to their kids. Because we're magical people.
Right.
I mean, dads are great too and all, but I'm talking about the magic of moms, for real. So, but yeah, that's part of that experience. Like, I have stories for days.
Your dad was your dad around?
My dad is a sexual. Sorry, sorry. This is the defense mechanism that I'm expressing right now. So my dad was actually a part of my sexual abuse in history.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's not okay. That's disgusting.
Let me start over. It is not okay, and it is not an excuse to not be great. For me, you see, like. And I went through a lot of therapy. Like the story of forgiveness for this situation, I still cry thinking about it because it was powerful for me.
Right.
But I have, in a very healthy way, moved on from that. And it has driven me to be a great mom, a great parent, a great partner. But yeah. So no. Short answer. No, he is not a part of this story in a positive way.
I like that. My story notes. What is my story no excuse?
My story, not my excuse.
Not my excuse.
If you wanted a band, I have a method grip. You know.
That's good. I like
But yeah,
I like that too.
but yeah, it's a part of who I am. Which,
okay, so I think so somehow, like, again, we'll watch this back. But, like, I think that's a really powerful, fucked up, like, not.
I don't take it personally.
Just going, your childhood is, like, kind of, and yours too. Like, I don't even know yours. But, like, the point is that, like, introducing how we were kind of, how you guys were raised.
Yeah. How it shaped us into who we are.
Yeah, and we don't have to go into, like, 20-minute stories, but, you know, just a little.
But you had to tell all that the way you just told it to us, because that was, like, yeah.
Wait, so hold on. Let me just ask you again. So, wait.
My mom can make this.
Public speaker?
I was.
This is not really.
I will show you. I will send a video.
So what happened? You just kind of stopped doing it? Or is
I moved from Indy, and life moved really fast. So, like, I did it for, like, 2 years, like, doing trainings, speaking in public, had one-on-one clients. It was kind of beautiful.
And you didn't want to go back to it when you moved?
I did. It is. I think about it every day. I think about it every day. And that is the dream delayed because, like, I actually know that that is not the end of that. It was K.L. Johnson Motivates. It is not the end of that era. It is, since I've stopped, I've gotten married, I've had kids, I've gotten my master's. Like, I've done a lot of growth and learning since that time. And I actually, the truth is, one day I'm going to be on a stage internationally with the translator or interpreter. That is the truth about like how big it will go for me. I believe that wholeheartedly. Like, I've seen it. I've felt it. I know it's there. I just have to say, you know what? Do it. Like, what are the things, the steps I have to take to get there? Because, like, it's here. It's in me. It's already in the universe. I feel it. I know it is there. So,
especially, like, I would say being around D.C.
So
like,
perfect.
D.C. is a powerful city.
Yeah.
Obviously. You got a shit ton of money, politics, and power. And so that, it's a good city to be in if you want to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's...
It will happen.
Yeah. That's
I
I
hear that.
Oh, it's good that you're here.
Yeah,
It's, like,
it's
there's
perfect.
So many people,
Right.
so much going on.
So many opportunities.
So many to like, oh, we need a speaker. Hey, me. So I just need to get my foot back out.
I got you.
So
Well, this
You should check on was it the Congressional Black Caucus when they do their conference every year in DC and like be a moderator.
Yeah, I should. Come on, Katie, stop playing with yourself.
I mean, because that's here. That's like another like way to just like open the door and get yourself back out there with like tons of people from like all over.
Yeah. Thank you all for that push. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Yeah. That's what we are in this world. Paul, this was great. I feel like I just had a whole fucking therapy session.
Man, I'm telling you.
It's like,
it's great.
Fills me up.
On my own podcast, I'm like, this is cool.
When you,
I don't care if 50 people listen to it. That's 50 people.
Yeah.
That's something. Yeah. You should come on.
I would love to. Let me know. I'll get some real lip gloss next time. My Vaseline has worn out, baby.
I was like biting my lips. I was like, I need to like.
I literally ran out there. I was like, damn, all I have is Vaseline. The one I slather on Bio's face when I leave. First of all, that is a real black mom thing. Let me ask you
talk about that.
Is this a real thing for you too? Do you put like Vaseline on your baby's face?
So kudos to Adrian. She's like very much into that. I was never raised that way. It's not. I don't know if it's because I'm white or a dude. Maybe both. But like, what moisture? I mean, I will say that I am putting on lotion now. Like literally in the past couple of years because I'm like, fuck, I'm getting old. Like my skin is like, oh no, let me just so dry. Like when I was younger, my skin was never really that dry, or you couldn't tell because it's just like pale. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a white thing, baby.
Yeah.
Cause I'm tell you what. Black teenage boys, they get ashy.
So did the little ones.
About.
Oh, I know. I went to school with, it was
yo, ashy Larry looking, and I'd be the one to
they used
like,
to just talk shit on each other. Be like, what are y'all talking about? Ashy up goes, what? Mine are ashy.
They was, we just couldn't tell, brother.
Oh, that is hilarious. Oh, I get on like Lonray during the summer because he never puts enough lotion on them. So before they walk out the house, I'm like, y'all need some lotion. He'll be like, I just put lotion on. I'm like, you ain't like rub it in.
Baby,
because they should not still look ashy.
I have a tube of Vaseline in my car.
Oh, I keep lotion in my car.
I'll be
like another.
But I also, what'd you say?
I say Vaseline seems like another level of like what Vaseline.
We used to mix Vaseline and lotion together. Did you do that growing up?
Like,
if my baby is not shiny, he is not well loved.
That is old school black mama.
I need him to look like.
What about cocoa butter? I've heard of that.
Yeah. So I actually make my own like shea butter and coconut oil. I just like make a big old batch and put them in containers for all the kids. Well, all.
Right, I'm gonna mark it, or not mark. I'm gonna make a note. We should have an episode on like I ask you questions about like black culture and just feel like what the fuck.
the fuck is the name. No, seriously, black people we stay moisturized. Vaseline, but like now. We rarely use lotion now. I just make one big old thing of shea butter, coconut oil, a little bit of vitamin E, mix it up. And that's what we use in our house.
I don't make it, but I buy it.
My husband is starting to like it, so I'm like, let me keep making it because your ass be ashy as hell.
My mom did, I will say, my mom did put Vaseline on me like twice. And she put it on my thumb when I was like 3 years old.
Wow.
So you would stop sucking your thumb.
It worked.
Oh, I bet. It's probably disgusting. Yeah.
It's like it's gonna stay on your thumb until you stop doing it, and I tried to it was like 2 days, and I never stopped.
Good job, Mom.
Yeah. Lonray uses Blue Magic on the boys' hair.
Yes, I have some at the house. You know what Blue Magic is?
Do you think I know what Blue Magic is?
He doesn't know what Blue
I'm
Magic
not sure.
hair grease
Oh, that's
is.
true. You didn't assume. I appreciate that. I don't know.
It's It's two different things. One is the drug from American Gangster. That's it.
Yes, I do.
But what we're talking about is hair grease.
Oh.
And now it's Blue Magic, coconut oil magic. It's big old tub of blue stuff. You
Brigitte wants beads. Like,
I will braid the shit out of Brigitte's hair.
Her hair is so thin though. It's like I don't know if it'll work.
Oh, because Elle wears beads in her hair. They become the little trio at school. You'll meet Elle's mom on Sunday.
Let's do it. All right, you got
to Sunday your party?
As far as I know.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay.
What's the problem? You got to babysit. I mean, not you.
No, I was just like, oh, why did I bring that back up? Because but yeah.
Is Adrian coming?
He didn't reach out to Adrian.
Oh, shit.